I'm not gonna lie, this is like the first time I have left my house since I got out of the hospital. So came over to the shop. There's some things that had to be done. You know what I mean? Had to get some stuff figured out for my supply business, which I can't say the name of, at least not this early in a video, because they'll demonetize me over it. Because that's how YouTube be working. If you curse too early in the video, that's a problem. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So came over here to get some of that stuff done, and then was just kind of looking around a little bit. There's something behind me that you guys don't even know about yet. I'll tell you what was happening. What was happening today is I started to film a YouTube video, and it was just gonna kind of be like just talking about what's been going on and everything else, and kind of, like I said, I'll show you the thing behind me that you guys may or may not know about yet. And I got about 10-15 minutes into it, and I was like, nope, F this. So I'm just not, I'm being straight up honest with you guys. I'm not really feeling it right now. I've still got a ways to go. So, you know, and then there's just other life stuff going on. So looking good, buddy. Hey, Matt, what's up? What's up, Bill, DW, Lloyd, Peter, T-Bone, Joey, Bill. Feeling better? Yes, I am. I am feeling significantly better than I was, and I am no longer heavily medicated. Well, I am still heavily medicated, just different kind of medication. So yeah, so we're feeling a lot better, but I'm not out of the woods yet. So what I mean by that is I have whatchamacallit, I still have surgical follow-ups. Let me see here. Volume is low. I don't know. Turn it up would be the best thing I could tell you. Maybe if I take this, because I think the microphone is on the bottom of the phone. There we go. I'll try that. So I still have surgical follow-ups. I still have, I'm still injecting myself daily with antibiotics. So you guys can't see, but maybe I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Probably not without taking my hoodie off. But I still have a line. It actually doesn't come all the way to here. It actually just goes to my shoulder. But I've got a midline that daily give myself antibiotics through and all that kind of crap. So yeah, that, you know, some of my surgery has healed very well. Some of it has not. So I'm a little anxious about what's going to come with that. Oh, fuck. And if you guys notice, sitting still is not a great, I'm trying to sit on this chair, and that's just not really working for me right now. I'm gonna have to stand. I'll end up standing up here at some point. So yeah, so then it raises a lot of questions, and I was gonna try to make a video about it, but I'm not gonna lie, like I started doing the video, and I was just like, God, I really don't feel like doing this. And I figured, I don't know, maybe, honestly, I didn't even plan to go live. I was just like, hey, I'm at the shop, and I did want to show you guys this just because I figured most people would get a laugh out of it. But I don't really know, you know what I mean? I didn't really know what I wanted the video to be about, and I was like, this is kind of stupid. I'm just walking around talking to myself and blah, blah, blah. And so there you have it. Is my uncle still around? He is. He's off running around seeing something. I don't even know where he's at right now. He's just doing a little bit of America exploring while he had an opportunity where kind of there isn't a whole lot going on with us. You know, as far as the cars and racing and all that, obviously I'm still not good enough. I mean, I don't know, I could probably, if I absolutely had to, I could get back into the Nova and go make a rip if I needed to. But I don't need to right now. There's nothing that, you know, I don't have to, so I'm not going to. Not gonna end up pushing it. But he's out and about doing some America exploring right now. So still have the vet. Yes, we still have it. I'm getting rid of it as soon as I possibly can. It has been nothing but a headache. He's been working on it, messing with it, everything, and it's just the thing is, when we bought it and we drove around, I was like, hey, this is actually a pretty good car. And then we tested it. We drove it all the way home, and it turned out that it was a piece of junk that needed a bunch of stuff and everything. And at the time, before I ended up in the hospital and everything, we didn't we didn't have a whole bunch of time to dedicate to it. And then I go to the hospital, and he's trying to work on it himself, and it's not working out the way that he had anticipated. And then he had made some choices too about what he wants to do, because there was a question of whether or not he was going to go back to Poland from here, or if he was going to go somewhere else. And I think he made that decision. So I think what we're going to end up doing is just selling the Corvette just to help fund his next part of his just crazy ass journey. But yeah, we got no that Corvette. The good news is we at one point we did. How much did the oil cost? I don't want to talk about it. I paid $486 or whatever for the Corvette. I probably spent another $486 in oil and gas to get it home. But but yeah, so that's probably what we're gonna end up doing. It's probably gonna end up just selling that thing off, and then having him have some money to go on to his next world adventure. Fix the Vetta's race car and raffle it for profit. Absolutely not. No, it doesn't work that way. Especially not with that car. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. But yeah, I need to stand up. This sitting thing, sitting ain't gonna work for me. For those of you guys that don't know, the bone that was infected, that was, majority of reason why I was in the hospital, was my tailbone. So the sitting thing is just, hope we're doing good. I'm doing all right. It's just, I will tell you, it's killing me to be at this pace right now, and the pace right now is nothing. I'm doing work from home. Like, I have work that I have. Somebody sent me a message about something. I have work that I do. What do you call it? Long distance from home. Whatever. I'm drawing a blank right now. So I've got work that I just continued working from home. I'm actually getting more work that's happening. What it looks like is, I don't even know, we're kind of creating the job title and all that kind of stuff, but essentially, like, I would be the head of marketing for an engine company. Is kind of what's looking like it would shape up to happen right now, but not any ones that you guys would think of. So are you still friends with? No, I definitely don't. I definitely didn't go to the house and pick up a 385 motor or anything. No, I've never been there. You guys just aren't allowed to see it because I'm not allowed to be in videos. So, but no, that definitely didn't happen. I'm in a wheelchair now, and it drives me nuts. Oh man, I couldn't imagine having to be in a wheelchair. It's just the sitting still is crazy. So I'm not necessarily sitting still, like I can move, but the not being able to do what I want to do. I really would love to get in the Nova and fire it up and go make a rip, but I'm not ready to yet. You know what I mean? My body is not 100% there yet. As you can see, sitting down, Doesn't it doesn't feel good, you know. I just got to lay in these weird positions and all this kind of stuff. So it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. I will eventually get better, but I still got a damn, excuse me, I still got a damn thing in my arm, a damn line. Still giving myself self antibiotics every day. So I really need to take it kind of easy. So sit on a pillow. I've tried the pillow, that doesn't work. It's just the thing is I think they had to cut into my tailbone. Is I think what happened. I still haven't looked at the surgery report yet, so I don't know. I don't even know where I can find the surgery report. But yeah, so I think no matter what I do, it's like it just is what it is. It just hurts. Like I think they cut into my tailbone. Shit's gonna hurt, you know. But I also am not. I didn't bring any medication home, like any pain medication. I've been just raw dogging it after I got out of the hospital. I was like, no more pain medication. We're not doing that. I'm just not a big fan of it. You know what I mean? In the hospital, bang me up. You know, in the hospital, let's do what we gotta do. Let's control the pain, everything. But once we get out, I'm not a fan of doing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's awesome you're moving around. Yeah, I'm moving around, you know what I mean? This is actually the most I've moved around since I left the hospital. This is kind of like the first time I've been out. So it's the first time I've been over to the shop. There's stuff that I got to handle here. So I started handling some of that. And then I was like, oh, you know what? Let's go by for a little bit. Let's talk to folks. Are those even? Yeah. So, and then I guess I can show you something else that I got. The problem, so what we've been having a problem with here lately is that there's a lot of things that have been happening that you guys have no idea about because I haven't been able to video them, put them in videos, all that kind of stuff. Like, for example, the Regal transmission, I broke immediately. And I talked to the guy. We ended up finding out that what it was is that the lever on the side was messed up. So he's like, I gave you one, you know, end up, if you can replace it. I did. Actually, well, I haven't given it to him yet just because I haven't left the damn house. But he's like, you know, that lever was messed up. It's causing all your problems, everything. We got it fixed up. We got it put back together, everything. Immediately went and did some burnouts. That looked good. And then I was like, all right, let's focus on doing whatever we got to do to finish it up for Delaware vehicle inspection, which is a completely different thing than most other states. If you guys don't know, to get a license plate and tag and everything. The other thing you guys don't know is we were working on the El Camino. The El Camino is this close to getting a license plate. It failed the brake test, and it failed very, very, like, barely failed. You know what I mean? So it we got to adjust the brakes, the rear brakes, because it failed on one of the rear drums. It just wasn't enough force. So I think maybe we got to bleed it a little more, and then maybe adjust it. And yeah, and then that thing will be road ready. I don't know that if you guys on YouTube even know, I did get into Sick Week this year. So if you guys don't know, Sick Week that happens down in Florida sells out within minutes, literal minutes. Like, to be a racer, literally, I think like 3 or 4 minutes it sold out this year. And I did get into that, so we got to figure out what I'm gonna do, you know, with which car am I gonna take, how we're gonna do that, everything, because there's some things about that race that are significantly different than all of the other races. So how'd you manage that? I assume you're talking about Sick Week. I managed it by being awake at whatever. So if you signed up for their email like alerts or whatever, everybody got an hour beforehand. There was a pre-sale, and it sells out in the pre-sale. Like if you wait for, I think the pre-sale starts at 9, the regular sale starts at 10. It sells out in 4 minutes. You have to be on pre-sale, so you got to go on their website, fill out whatever for the, the pre-sale information. They email it you, they email it to you, and then you have to sit and wait there. And the second that the clock turns 9 o'clock, you've got to refresh, put the password in, buy it, have your credit card ready, check out. Like, you got to do it all as fast as humanly possible. So I did. I got up early, and it was on a Sunday, and just did it all and ended up working out. So I got my smile. So the problem with that is like, yeah, it's crazy. I missed it twice. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's half of it is just luck. The other half is just being there, credit card in hand. I happen to know my credit card numbers pretty much off the top of my head, so that helps. I'm just sitting there clicking refresh at the right time, getting it in, boom, 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 being done. So, but with that race is different than any other race that I go to, because they actually follow the rules. So if you want to go faster than 1150, it has to be caged. And so it's all regular NHRA rules. If you don't have an NHRA license, the fastest you can go is 10.0. I don't have an NHRA license. I've never needed one. You know what I mean? All that, a lot of tech. Yeah, it's a ton of tech. It's a lot different than the no prep world, where show up, come one, come all, however you are, whoever you are, and you're racing. So depending on what I want to do with that week, there might be some other things that have to happen. I might have to go get an NHRA license. I might have to get a cage certified, get a cage in any of these cars, or whatever car I decide I'm taking. So there's a lot more that goes into it than what I would typically do for any kind of no prep stuff. So we're not exactly ready for that yet. My thought process was, I'll just take the Regal and run 1150, because I really didn't want to put a cage in the Regal. But the other side of it is, I really don't want to run 1150 all week either. Like 1150 will be fun once or twice, but then I'll be like, all right, well, we're turning it down. Like, we could just turn it up and go faster. So license is not hard to get, just takes 2 outings. Yeah, it's not difficult to get. It's just you have to go. Here's the problem. This is the thing that I fear, is if I if I have to go somewhere to get my license, well, which I do, but if I have to go somewhere to get my license, I think to get an 850 license, you have to run 850, or pretty close to. Right now, the Nova is not geared correctly to run 850 with the RPM we have. So are we going to re-gear it? Or like, how am I going to tackle that? Or do I just maybe find a friend or somebody, like, hey man, like, can I pay you to make some laps on your car so I can get my license? Like, it probably would be a much easier, cheaper way to do it, is if I just maybe try to find somebody else's car. And then this way I also don't have to worry, like, you could do it 8th mile. Oh shit, well, if you can do it 8th mile, then yeah, we can rock it. Because I think, what's 850 in the 8th? It's like 50s, 60s or something. Depends, it could be whatever. Okay, so I didn't realize that you could do it 8th. I didn't know that. So now, is that for NHRA and IHRA, or is it one or the other, or that we got to figure out? Because I think my local track, the closest track to my house, I think it's not NHRA. It might be IHRA. And then I got to figure out, does Sick Week accept IHRA and blah 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 blah. So I should get a license. I mean, I've been pretty much running the ET anyway. Like, it's not, it doesn't hurt anything to have the license. But I would just have to figure out if it's I have to figure out what we have to go in the Nova to do, because I think and I have to research. You guys might know more than me for the license. Is it an 850 license or is it an 8-second license? Like, isn't there a range or something? So how fast do I have to go in the Nova to make it happen? And then how stringent are they about some of those details? Like, the Nova has a cracked windshield. Generally speaking, any tech is going to fail that. Anywhere I race, it doesn't matter. But, are they going to let me get my license in a car that has a cracked windshield that shouldn't pass you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get into those kinds of things. So there's some research that needs to be done. I got to figure it out, and, we can kind of go from there. Somebody said something about a physical. I do remember seeing something about a physical. Will I pass it? I don't know. I can't be the only person with Crohn's disease that drives a race car. Like, you know what I mean? I do need a haircut, though. So I don't see why not. Hello from Tosa. It has to pass tech. Yeah. And then, so that's kind of where we get into I don't have a car that could possibly run whatever the 850 equivalent would be, which I believe is like 50s or 60s, maybe. You don't have to hit 850 equivalent to get that license. Well, here's the thing. Right now, the Nova is going 80s, 580s on 545. Okay. The Nova's going 80s on significantly less boost than it's ever taken to run a 5-second pass. So, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, like it takes more than just turning up the power, but the whatchamacallit, there's no, like, I wouldn't hesitate to try to jam a 60 out of Nova. Like, I think it's possible relatively simply. So are you and your wife still together? We don't see you in the videos. Yeah, because I'm tired of putting my freaking family in videos, specifically my significant other, and having a whole bunch of old ass, nasty ass men comment nasty shit about my woman. So, yeah, there you go. I'm new. What do you do? I don't do shit. Every once in a while, I'm a really bad race car driver and a really bad race car builder and hot rod enthusiast. Yeah. Here, I'll show you. Here's one we were working on for a little bit. They got held up for parts. And we still need parts. Actually, now that I'm out of the hospital, one of the things I gotta do is call the company and be like, hey, where's this stuff that I ordered that I needed? That, you know what I mean? And we need to get this finished up. And then I saw somebody ask, I guess we can get into a little bit. I saw somebody ask about the small tire stuff and what is going on right now. And if you follow me on Facebook or any other social media, you guys see, like, I've been poking the bear a little bit, just, having some fun with that scenario and situation. But also in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think about stuff as well too, and kind of just, what is it that I want to do, and I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I'll be flat out honest with you guys. I used to want to be competitive in small tire no prep. That was my goal, and somewhere along the lines, I felt that goal was maybe a little too far out of reach. It started to become to a point where I just felt like, it's an unreasonable goal. It's unreasonable. I don't have specifically we can get into the other parts of it too, but I don't have the knowledge, experience, everything. I'm working on going out and getting it. But I can't advance my knowledge level quickly enough with the tools that I have at hand in order to do that successfully, I think. So, lots of money, yeah. And Bill, and that's the other part of it, lots of money too. There's lots of money involved. So, you know, that used to be my goal. And now I'm like, you know, I just want to have fun again. I honestly, like, it's been a while since I've had some fun. Like, a lot of this stuff has just become work, and you know, I have to do this, I have to do that, and it's not been the kind of experience that, not because it's work, but like just it stopped being fun, and it stopped being fun driving 12 hours across the country to make it out of round one, just to go out round two, to just get beat up on with, you know, with being significantly outclassed, which is not a, it is what it is. I can try to sell everything and buy a tube chassis car, and it's not about tube chassis. The reason I say tube chassis car is because it would be significantly lighter, you know what I mean? So then the little amount of horsepower that I have, you know, could be applied better. So it's not about whether it's tube chassis or not. Like, it could be not tube chassis, but if it weighed 2,000 pounds and it did what I needed it to do, whatever. So I haven't been having a ton of fun. Mix that in with some health issues, mix that in with, you know, I've got children and family and growing up and stuff. Like, I'm kind of like, man, what do we do? Because there's things that people don't know about how much sacrifice it's taken to get to this point. And the problem that I have is that there are things that I have done in the past that I'm no longer willing to do, and positions I'm no longer willing to put myself in to chase the goal. It's just not worth it for the stress, everything else. So the problem, these guys are capable of running 450s now. Yeah, and that's the thing, and a lot of people don't understand. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to anybody, and hopefully it doesn't offend you when I say it, but like, a lot of people that watch YouTube don't understand. They're like, well, why can't the Nova compete with this or that? Or, well, because the Nova can go, right now, could probably go mid fives, right? The problem is that everybody else can go mid fours. Like, that's a huge difference. That's significantly different. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of folks don't understand what the differences in the cars are that make them that way. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think when talking about the small tire thing as a whole, you know, I think that something has to give, right? And I don't know what it is. I'm not sure how. It's very, very hard, because the fact of the matter is, when you're racing, it does not matter. You know, there is a point that I will agree with. A lot of people make a point that say, you know, well, the best are always going to be the best because they're the best, right? Well, to an extent, I would agree with that. To an extent, I would agree that, you know, people who have good work ethic are going to have good work ethic. I don't, you know, disagree with that at all. But what I will disagree with is you can never outwork a checkbook. You know what I mean? You can never outwork a checkbook. I don't care how I could sit here for 40 hours straight and test 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 and whatever, right? But I can't outwork the fact that they've got 1,000 more horsepower than me, because they can just throw the money into the motor. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Just because someone can run a 4 doesn't mean they can run a 4 every time. Yeah, but that's the other part that a lot of people don't understand. You can, if you take a 450 car and a 550 car, or a 550 car and a 650 car, this is a great example. 550 car and a 650 car, And, oh, we're going to put it on the backside. The surface is the equalizer, blah, 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 blah. Well, the car that's only capable of running 650 is not going to have the back half to be able to beat the 550 car. And I know this. I, for one, proved it myself. If you guys go back to the video where I won on the street, granted, a couple things happened there. I got good draws, so I got lucky. Luck is a part of it. The other part of it is a bunch of those cars were not 5-second cars. So all I did was just kept turning my 5-second car down to try to get it to go faster and faster by turning it down to hold the power of the road. When they turned their cars down, they now taken a 6-second car and made it a 7-second car. When I turn my 5-second car down, I make it a 6-second car. So, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more that goes into it than people realize or understand. And yes, not every pass is perfect. You know, not every time you let go of the button, whatever, people make mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But you can't rely on every time I line up next to somebody, I hope that they make a mistake, because that's the only way that I could possibly win the race. So, and I think that a lot of people are feeling that way. Honestly, for me, what about when you raced Wesley Skinner, when you blew the tires off and still drove around you? Exactly. Because there's the point, because I couldn't, at that point, I was giving it all the power I could give it, actually, and that was on the front half. So I was giving it plenty of power. And he blew the tires off 6 times, and then when he finally planted, he went, oh, we have a lot more power than you. Phew! You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Now, what do I think that that's going to do? You know, I don't know. I think that something does need to give. There could be some kind of a change coming. The problem that I foresee happening is there's no one to make the change, right? Like, at least now I don't know a lot about all this other stuff. You know, like, but for example, like X275, right? There's people, whoever it is, group, whatever, however the hell that works out, that they make rules and they adjust rules for that class, right? That does not exist in no prep. In no prep, every race you go to, whoever the promoter is, can make up their own rule set for that day and run it. I used to do it with the SHITBOX classes. We would go SHITBOX racing, and the rule wasn't even a rule. The rule was, does it look like it's a fast car? I know enough about cars to look at the combination and be like, you're going to put 6 car lengths on everybody. Either you're going to the pro mod class, or we're starting everybody 3 cars out on you. You know what I mean? And that was fun. And the reason we were able to do that was because it wasn't big money racing. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't $200, $300, $500,000 buy-in. So nobody cared when they lined up and they realized the guy next to them was getting the back tire on them. You know, it was what it was. It was a fun time. And that's hard to do. Now, I've heard through the grapevines that some folks are trying to recreate that in some sort of fashion or way, or they're coming out with this big idea that your boy has already done before, but it's neither here nor there. But I've heard, and for, you know, I hope it works out, because I think that people would enjoy doing it. The issue that I foresee happening is, this is where it gets tough, right? The payouts are big because most of this stuff, the payouts are funded by the racers. So the payout is driven by the buy-ins. So if you have a large number of entrants, let's say you have 60 cars that show up and they all pay, you know, $200, 60 cars, that's $12,000. Well, what happens when 60 cars, honestly, 30 of them got no shot in hell, right? Myself included, not trying to talk like I'm somebody, but 30 of them got no shot in hell. Well, what happens when them 30 guys get really tired of doing this and don't come anymore. Well, then the money drops off. Well, when the money drops off, well, then these high dollar racers, what are they going to do? You know what I mean? So it's like a catch 22. I don't know how it works out. You know, I'm I don't know. I don't have the answer. I wish that I did. I wish that I was like, oh, guys, I know the answer. This is how we, you know, fix the problem. But I don't. I don't have the answer. And you look at it. There's 67 no preps every weekend now. You know, I miss I miss the days, the old school. I'd get up with Billy. We'd go up to Midnight Madness. Like, there was a time when just to get on a 32 car list, just to get locked into a 32 car list was a big deal, right? You know, and everybody, we all went to one place because there wasn't 56 races this weekend all across the country, everything. There was only one no prep, and it was the only one this month. So if you wanted to do it, you had to be there. And, you know, those days are kind of sucks. Those days are gone, you know. Talk about stuff like that. And then street racing. Street racing is plagued with its own problems now. I mean, I'm not saying street racing's dead. Don't get in here and come in for my throat. Because, oh, we street race all the time. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But in general, street racing has its own set of issues too. You know, now we've got cops that are way more adventurous, I guess would be a way to put it. You know, and I think a large part of that is because of like the takeover crowds and stuff like that. But you know, if you say street racing is good right now, we will never have the Kansas City, whatever it was, 40 cars, 42 cars, you know, the entire country came to Kansas City. That will never happen again. And as much as I hate to say it, that will never happen again. You know, the time just isn't, the timing was right then, the people were right then, the scenario was all just, it all worked. We will never have that again. And it sucks because I was there and I was filming, and it was one of those things that, like, man, I would love to have raced in this, and I'm never going to get that opportunity. It will never be that level again. But not that there aren't great street races. You know, obviously the pad is still rocking, and you know, there's still great places. But like that kind of an experience is never going to happen again, which sucks. I'm thankful that I got to experience what I did, but you know. Oh, you guys are talking about some MPK stuff. We ain't got enough money for an MPK shit around here. Ryan Mitchell's cleaning house with a big block Chevy. Yeah, a Pro Charge big block Chevy in a tube chassis strut car. Like, not to take anything away from him. He's had that car for years. He's worked for years. He is a very, very smart guy, and very good at what he does. And he goes to races where he fits the rules. He doesn't try to go to races where, like, he tries to sneak in or anything. So it's nothing, there's nothing, I want to be very clear about this, that I'm not saying anything negative about Ryan Mitchell. But what I'm saying is, do you think that the Nova and that Firebird, if you put those two in a lane next to each other, like, are they the same type of cars? No, but they're in the same class. You know what I mean? So the class, because it's so open, allows for that level of mismatch. So, Sherm got a sweet ass Chevelle. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. People got sweet cars. People been spending money. People been doing this, that, and the other. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Maybe give you a 200-foot head start. Yeah, Ryan Mitchell probably would give me a 200-foot head start, and he would probably still smoke my ass. But, like, I'll put it to you flat out. I have looked at, been offered to purchase, like, some cars that aren't for sale, like not publicly for sale. But I've looked at like 6.0 double frame rail cars and like, hey, is this where I have to take it now? Or is this even where I want to take it? Just make more, bro. I don't know if I want more money. I am right now. And that's part of the reason we're hung up on content and everything else, because started making some money, and I'm like, hey, if I'm not traveling the country beating myself up and everything else, and I just chill the hell out and am stuck to a hospital bed for 2 weeks, I seem to have a lot more money than I normally do. So, okay. All right, so somebody finally saw it. But I'll tell you guys, let me flip the camera, you guys can see it. Oh, it finally happened. I own a Fox body. So this was going to be in that video that I was going to make that I decided not to. We watched it on TV. There we go. Not sure I understand what you're talking about, man. I don't know. I don't know if you're talking to me or if it's still in the conversation, because I know you guys were having some internal conversations in the comment. So this thing, I'll tell you guys the story about this thing. Guy hits me up and is like, hey, do you still have that RV? And I'm like, yes, I do. And he was like, do you want to trade for it? And I was like, I don't know, maybe what you got. He's like, well, I got a Fox body. And I'm like, well, go F yourself. And then I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? It's probably significantly easier to get rid of a Fox body than it is to get rid of the RV, like in terms of resale and that kind of stuff. So I said, you know what? Screw it. We'll go ahead and trade. He brought it down. He looked at the RV. He thought about it. He thought about it right then and there. Said, yeah, I'm going to take it. Cool. Boom. He took it. I end up with a Mustang. So what do we do with this Mustang? I have no freaking clue. So it's not super special by any means. It does have a tubular K member. But yeah, way less space too. Yeah, exactly. So it takes up less space, but it's got a tubular K member and it's leaking power steering fluid. I didn't realize that. But it's got mounts for an LS. So I have motor mounts for an LS. It has direct port nitrous inject. No, it doesn't. But it has a very, very clean interior. Like, this interior is very nice. All the seats, are in good condition and all that kind of stuff. Hold on, I forget. Is it this one? Yeah, damn Fox body's got that button you gotta push to get the key out. So it has a beautiful full interior. I do like that. You know what I mean? The interior is in very nice condition. And let's see if I can show you. I don't know which key it is. Is it this one? Oh, yep. Hatchback. It has already been mini tubbed. So it's got tubs. It has a battery mount. Oh. Hey, Matt, you know me 10 seconds. Yeah, here you go. Here's your 10-second car. That's not tied down. So maybe we could use that for something else. That's not tied down either. But fuel cell, it has let me see if I can even show you guys. Bam. So it's got an 8.8 that's been shortened, stabilized a bit there. 8-inch ends on it. I think that looks like some. Is that a factory mount on the bottom? I think it's a factory mount on the lower control arm. But yeah, I don't know what gear ratio it has in it, but it's got coilovers in the rear already, mini tubbed, all that good jazz. So this thing could potentially be a little, you know, a little something cool, whatever. How much am I selling it for? So I would sell this for $6,500. That car 490 capable, sadly. Yeah, if I completely gutted it, you know, did all the chassis work and all that. That's the only thing is that I would not, like, I used to be a jerk, and I'm trying not to be a jerk anymore. Like, this interior is very nice. It is in very, very good condition, and I don't think that this car should be torn apart, gutted, all that kind of stuff to make it a fast race car. Like, I think that this car should remain kind of as is, you know what I mean, and just make a fun, nice little street car for somebody. But I did consider, I don't know, I was, like I said, I was going to put it in the video, but I said F the video. I was going to ask you guys, what do you think? Should I put a, should I just go grab a 5360 something, whatever, carb, make it nice and easy. I probably got all those parts. Go grab a glide from my guy and just make it like a little nitrous 5.3, you know what I mean? Yeah, that kind of thing. Or should I just try to sell it as is? It's got I think I said it's got 4 9-inch ends, studs, spool, gear. I don't remember what gear is in. So, but it still has factory front struts. Like, it could use some front struts probably. Turbo it? No. Turbo it's not worth it. So it's not worth the investment, because turbo it means ECU, means fuel system, means blah 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 blah. Like, it means a bunch of things that I'm just not willing to do for this car. I don't really like Fox bodies. So, but it's clean title. It's a like I said, the interior is very nice. The mini tubs look beautiful. I don't know who did that, but it looks like a good job was done on it. So I will say that, pending that if the front end went down, I do kind of like the stance of the car, the way the rear tire really fits that wheel well, very nice. It fills it out. So, but we have it. Now, what am I going to do with it? I got no freaking clue. I don't know if we're doing anything with it. I was thinking about maybe just raffling it off just as is, or just selling it as is. It's not doing anything. Like, it's not killing me. I mean, it's taking up a little bit of space, but you had an ECU already. One ECU to, so I'm just going to pull the ECU out of the Nova every time I want to race this car. We'll just swap the ECU back and forth. We could, but no. Stop. You are a bad idea, man. Could probably get more money if it runs and drives, plus easier to move around. Yeah, you are correct with that. Like, literally doing nothing but just putting a basic 5.3 with a power glide with a trans brake. It wouldn't even need, like, my Nova has a 180 straight cut gear set. This doesn't need a 180 straight cut. You can use a 176 gear, and I know people that have made over 1,000 horsepower with the 176 factory cut gear set. Just a trans brake, boom, you know what I mean? So I would be, but then you could be different like everyone else and have an LS Mustang. Yeah, well, the only reason would be to sell it. Like, the only reason to do any of that would be to sell it. The only reason I got it is because I understand that it's way easier to get rid of this than it is to get rid of an RV. Like, way more people want this thing than the amount of people that want an RV. I'm definitely not putting a Ford motor in it. That is a stupid investment. That is a lot of money for not a lot of power. We could put, if I could find a decent 6.0, I wouldn't mind doing a 6.0, like 6.0 converter, glide, a plate with a 150, 200 shot on it. You know what I mean? This thing would probably, as much as I hate to say it, probably run mid sixes and be a very easy thing to sell. 6.0 would be nice, yeah. The only reason I say 6.0 is because I've been enjoying my 6.0 so much that that cubic inch difference is phenomenally different. Duramax. I have a buddy with a Duramax and a trans and everything. Actually, yeah, we could. I wonder. That's fucked up. It would be cheaper. I wonder if he's got that trans still. I think it would. Hold on. Now you got me in a bad spot right here, right? Because I think that it would literally be cheaper for me to put a Duramax in this thing than it would be to put an LS. And the only reason I say that is because a friend of mine has a Duramax, and I'm pretty sure he's got a Duramax with the trans that he would sell to me very cheaply. So the Duramax, but it would be a factory GM trans, whatever came on the back of it. So it wouldn't be a race car. It would just be a diesel Mustang. So Duramax is too heavy. Yeah, but you can also run like 80 pounds of boost and 4 kits of nitrous through a diesel. So LP5, I don't remember what it is. So you guys are gonna have to forgive me, and this is gonna get bad because, as I'm sure you will find out at some point, and when all this stuff probably comes to fruition, the diesel world is stealing me. I do a lot of work in the diesel world, and even more is coming. So, yeah, fun car. Yeah, it would be awesome. Like, it would do burnouts and stuff, and plus I know that, like, I have a whole lot of connections in the diesel world. I'm very, very close with a lot of people in that industry, and that is only going to continue to grow as more of my work gets done and that kind of stuff. But yeah, like, I'd be willing to bet you if we put a Duramax in it, this is all just like hypothetical because I'm not doing any of this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't even want to touch a car. Like, I am so burnt out on shit, and obviously with my health being the way it is right now and everything, the way that I feel about things, I have no interest in any of it, right? But it's fun to just sit here and dream. Like, I know for a fact we could get turbos for it immediately. Fuel system, I know some folks. What else would we need? If he had, I don't know if he's got the ECU, but if he had the motor, trans, and ECU, and if he sold all that to me, and then I put that in, a drive shaft, turbos, we would have covered, obviously making some kind of a kit. Fuel pump, I know some guys, I know some peoples that maybe, actually, they may even be watching this right now. And then, I don't know, injectors, I know people for diesel injectors, I know all of them guys, so. Thank you, Norris Derek, thank you. Allison, I think it was an Allison transmission. So he pulled it, it was in one of his work trucks, I think, or something. And they wrecked the work truck. So they pulled the drivetrain out of it because the drivetrain was fine, but the truck itself was wrecked. What's heavier, the Mustang or the Nova? The Nova, all day. Actually, I wanted to bring the scales home and weigh the Nova because we haven't weighed it since we put the 6.0, the air to water, all that stuff in. All right, we were aluminum block. When we were aluminum block 5.3, without the air to water and everything, the Nova weighed 3,200 pounds with me in it, I think. So I think right now we're at like, we're gonna say 100 pounds iron block versus aluminum block, probably 50 pounds or more in water, ice box, all that kind of shit. It's probably gonna be 3,400 pounds, I think. So, are you gonna make it to Shady Side in March? I don't know. I don't even know what race you're talking about. And to be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot of what I'm going to be doing for a while. Part of that, and also if I put the Duramax in it, I know Ryan Milliken wants to tune it, and actually he's the one that suggested it. I asked him one day, I said, if I was going to do something like LS style, like low budget, we could have some fun with, that kind of stuff. He told me whatever Duramax it was, and he's like, that's the one that you should do. And then call me when you get it so I can tune it. I'm like, okay, cool. So, coming to smokestack. No. Weston, he's, talk about like another situation where he's got significantly more money than me. That thing would destroy me alive. It would purely just be for the fun aspect of it. So, yeah, chill and live life. Yeah, exactly. Like, we're not even, I have a follow-up for surgery next week that may result in more surgeries. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't even know. I don't even know yet. I don't know if I'm going to be back in a race car in 2 weeks. I don't know if I'm going to be back in a race car in a month, 2 months, 3. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with my own personal health. And on top of that, I have no idea what's going on with small tire and all that other kind of shit. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like driving to Shady Side for a front half race that I have no business in. That, you know, that I'm just going to go and donate money. Now, the flip side to that is, I think Shady Side was the place where I went and we got a house with Nick and Maddie and stuff. Like, I would do that if that was the scenario. It was free entry, and I got a house with Nick and Maddie and all that. Like, if we were to do that again, absolutely, I'd do it again, because it would just be a good time hanging out with my friends. I'd go out round 1. I'd go out round 2. It's the thing now. Like, now I've got round 1 figured out, but round 2 is the issue. But I'd go out round 2, and then I'd help Nick the rest of the time and everything else. So, you know, I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. I'm not planning for anything. I'm not anticipating anything. If you need, Derek, we had that conversation today. We legitimately, like, we were having a little team meeting about work, and I was like, well, shit, who can I put in the car? So we've discussed the possibility of putting Mallory in the Nova. I will say that. So, yeah. But if you want to come drive it, go ahead. Like, I've got no problem with that. I'm worried to put people in it because it's like that car has its own personality a little bit. Like, you got to kind of You know what I mean? You got finesse with that one a little bit, but it's a piece of shit race car. You've been in plenty of those. We've all been in plenty of those. You know what I mean? And at this point, it does. The only thing you have, like I was telling Mallory, because I asked her if she wanted to try it, and I was like, the only thing you have to do is know how to do the burnout. Like, just not, don't let it bounce off the limber in the burnout. And maybe what I probably should do is actually hook up the burnout switch, you know what I mean, to turn that on for burnout stuff. But then the problem is, then if you leave the burnout switch on, you screw yourself in the run. So as the hardest part of it is the burnout, and then because none of my toggle switches are marked of what they actually are, we got to get a label maker and mark them what they actually are and what needs to be on and off. Other than that, let go of the button, it shifts itself. It does everything, you know what I mean? It's going to do everything itself. So, and I'm sure she could handle it on wastegate. Prep track front side, it'll probably still go it will go mid fives. Yeah, it'll go mid fives on wastegate. So, and then, because the thing is, in 2 more weeks, I think it is, in 2 more weeks, there's a race in Delaware. So we're half-assed locked in. I say half-assed locked in because we didn't have to actually put any money up. We signed up online. You just had to put your name on the thing. So we've got that coming in a couple weeks, and I don't know that I'm gonna be ready for it. It depends. The thing is, not that I'm incapable of driving a car. I drove myself to the shop. It's just, the Nova, the freaking door doesn't work. I got to climb in and out of that thing. My tailbone freaking hurts. They cut that thing open. And, like, I'm just not trying to put extra stress on my body and things that I already know are jacked up. Like, it's just, for what? For what? Even if I do drive in that race here in Delaware, I'm going to go to the second round and get knocked out. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Maybe the third. Like, and for what? Beat my body up, whatever. I don't know that it's worth it. So, keep those payouts. Big cars will not waste their time. That's actually false. So, what happens is you end up in this scenario where it doesn't matter where you go now. There's always 1 or 2 of them, guys that are very, very fast that are like, oh, it's right down the street. I'm going to go collect this $3,000 real quick. And they do it. And they do it, and they will do it. They have that. Take those doors off and put fiberglass doors on it. Okay. What's that going to do? It's going to take my 3,400-pound Nova and make it 3,300 pounds. We need to be sub 3,000 at the... I can't even finish that sentence, but my sentence was going to be, we need to be sub 3,000 pounds at the power level I'm currently at, plus 200 horsepower, to even make any kind of a difference in what I want to do. But that's also not the case too, because we're 80s now on 17 pounds, but it's not 17 pounds off the rip. It's still whatchamacallit. I never got to the point when we were at Wagler where I could ramp it in like immediately. So when I was at Wagler and we were testing, we got to like 17 pounds and I was like, all right, cool. 17 pounds is good. Mile an hour is good. ET's good. Let's just bring the ramp in sooner. Sorry. I was like, mile an hour is good. ET's good. Everything's good. Everything seems to be somewhat happy. You know what I mean? We're still having a problem with the fuel pressure that I got to figure out, which was an immediate fuel pressure drop off the button. like I said, last time I had a fuel pressure issue, it was filters, but those filters were brand new when the motor went in. Still got to check it. It's ethanol. Anything can happen. But yeah, that was on like 17 pounds. So I went, okay, well, instead of, all right, well, let's give it 20 pounds because we don't know what the limit of the fuel system is yet. I think it should be somewhere around 20 pounds. I think that's what Derek said. Something around there is where we're going to run out of fuel pump. But instead of going that way, why don't we just work on, bringing the power in faster and ramping it in faster and 330ing better, 60ing better, and that'll carry us out the back door even faster. And I never got enough passes. I didn't get enough time to get it figured out to get to the point where we were leaving and, ramping that 17 pounds in by the 60 foot. Like, it wasn't even by the 60 foot. Yeah, like it was still further out. So, if I could have figured out how to get that 17 pounds in by the 60 foot, I'd have felt confident about we're getting pretty close to where we would need more boost. So, but even still, so 580s, we probably, in all reality, we should be 70s. The next pass, had it stuck, would have been a 70 based on where I was putting the power in at. It'd have been like a high 70. And then that was my game plan. I was like, all right, we're here. Let's go high 70. All right, cool. That took it. Let's go low 70, maybe high 60. You know what I mean? And just kind of keep chipping away at it to kind of figure out what it would take to get there. So if we were sub 3,000 pounds with another 200 horsepower, we could maybe get that Nova down into the 30s. But the problem there is at some point, which we may already be there, we're starting to get kind of chassis limited where, how well the chassis is working is not working well enough to do what we want it to do. The fastest 60 foot I've ever had in that car was actually on the street, and it was a 138 60 foot. It's a very consistent 140 60 foot, but we need more out of it. Like, that thing needs to be going lower into the 30s. Run a mechanical pump. Yeah, we could, but then there's getting mechanical pump onto the motor, and then, there's other things involved with that. It's not just buying a pump and bolting it on and go, because we gotta, are we rear mounting it? The Nova is already front heavy. Like, it's already too heavy in the front to where if we try to, mount fuel tank up front and that kind of stuff, like, now we're just going in the wrong direction. So there's everything is give and take, up and down, back and forth, all that kind of shit. And honestly, I didn't even plan on being live for this long. I was just like, whoa, while I'm over here at the shop, let me show these guys that, number one, I'm still alive, capable of at least leaving the house, and I have a Mustang. So, apparently I like men now. Radiator back, 3 gallons out front. Yeah. But once again, for what? Like, move the radiator to the back in a 3,400 pound car that only makes 950, 1,000 horsepower. Like, you know what I mean? We need 1,300 horsepower and 2,500 pounds with me in it, and then we can do something. You know what I mean? And then at that point, the chassis has to work and everything else. Like, I'll be straight up honest with you guys. Like, I am burnt out on shit. You know what I mean? I'm burnt out on driving across the country. I'm burnt out on constantly working on these cars. I'm burnt out on worrying about the videos and no, we didn't get another video up and everything else. And I'm burnt out on a lot of that stuff. And I think a lot of that has just compiled and compiled and compiled to the point where when I went to the hospital this time and I spent 2 weeks laying in a hospital bed doing nothing but literally laying and working. I did do some work on my computer. I'm kind of just like, I don't give a shit about any of this stuff anymore. And it sucks. It's sad, honestly. Like, I'm at the point of, I don't even care if I have a YouTube channel anymore. You know? And that's not like it's not like a, oh, a woe is me thing or, you know, anything else. Like, I'm like, you know, I just don't care at the moment. So hopefully, hopefully it doesn't stay like that. You know, I don't think that it will, but I definitely need to put myself in a position where we have more fun. So I'm burnt out. My business too. Got people pushing forward. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And you know, I have the other part that people don't know is that by default, by just pure happenstance, the whole we're a little depressed. I'm not depressed. It's actually funny. Like I'm not depressed about it. I just don't give a shit about it anymore. Like it's not a depression thing because like I'm pretty happy. You know, my ass hurts, but it's more just like if I don't do this anymore, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. But by pure happenstance, like this other part of my business where we do social media work and film and photography work and consulting and marketing and all of that stuff has really taken off lately. And, you know, I'm very glad, I'm very happy about that. There's more stuff happening that in my work that I'm very, very happy about. I'm looking forward to everything. We're going to, you know, be able to do some really cool stuff. We're going to be able to make a few bucks and all that kind of stuff. And what I was hoping for, and just being legitimately honest here, what I was hoping for is that by having some of this stuff going on with my business, that it would kind of let me relax on YouTube a little bit to where I started having fun with it again. You know what I mean? And where I started enjoying it again. And I think part of that is just the position I got to put myself in. Like sick week. Sick week. I had a blast on sick week last year, and we weren't even in a race car. We were in a piece of shit C10. So I really want to do that again. I'd really like to. I don't know. That's a whole lot of shit in there. I really want to focus on that a little bit. I'd like to have some cool. I just got to figure out what I want to do. I'd love to go out there and obviously for the first one as a racer, the first, you know, drag and drive you do, whichever one it is, and everyone there on out, goal number one is finishing. Like before we even talk about on-track performance or anything else, finishing is goal number one, right? So I want to finish it. I want to drive it all week long and finish it and break whatever fixes on the road, do whatever it is I got to do, whatever, make it happen. Finishing is number one. And number two, I don't know, like obviously I'm probably going to run some kind of index, or not index, but like a bracket style class, dial your own, you know what I mean? So the question then just becomes, okay, well, do we not put a cage in the car? Right now, I'll say right now the game plan is to take the Regal for sick week. So it doesn't have a cage, so we can't go faster than 1150. I don't know that I'm going to be satisfied with that. The flip side to that is it's probably way easier to survive a week with an 1150 car than it is an 850 car or a 750 car or a 6-second car, whatever. It's way easier than that. But I don't know. So I don't know what my goals for that particular thing are, other than I know it's going to be fun. It's a freaking blast. You will never, I don't know that I've ever had as much fun racing or in a racing situation as I have when we went on sick week last year. It's a very good time. You cruise the streets with everybody, like, and sick week is the perfect mix of it too, where like you get the racing, you get the driving, everything, but it's not, the longest drive on paper I think is like 3.5 hours or something. So like this Midwest shit where you got to drive 8 hours to the next track, that's not enjoyable. It's not fun. You're just beating yourself up. You know what I mean? If you can drive 3.5 hours, you can probably drive 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever. And at that point, you're just like self-inducing more torture for no reason. So I think that has a good mix. They've got you drive right down the beach, which is awesome. Obviously a lot of great people out there, a lot of good people. So I'm looking forward to that, because it's just fun, and I'd like to have some fun. Better checkpoints too. Yeah, it's in Florida. It's in Florida. Either, what is it? The last week of January this year. So, your brother-in-law is a cool guy. I don't have a brother-in-law. I don't have a brother-in-law. Unless there's that one sibling that nobody knows exists that somehow. Yeah. Unless you know something about my family that I don't know. So, but that's kind of it in a nutshell, guys. Just uncle. Probably talking about my uncle, yeah. But I'm gonna get the heck up out of here. Go home. I got some more work to do, and yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you guys. I know I need to put out an actual video because for whatever reason the live streams don't get watched nearly as much as the published videos. So just so everybody understands what's going on, where I've been, what I'm doing, all that kind of stuff, I do need to put out a regular video. So, do you hunt? No, I don't hunt. You got any diesel stuff in Texas next year? I will. I'm sure that I will. Diesel is gonna take over my life here shortly. You guys don't even understand. Matt hunts for LS Motors. Be safe. Yep. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get some of that stuff done. I'll get a video out. I'm not feeling super pumped up about it. I think also too because I know like the video is, I can't do anything. I can't work on a car. Like I can't lay under a car right now and wrench and fix stuff and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is. Ugh. Takes time for failure. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I need to get my happy ass home. I need to make sure that I finished what I came here to do. Boom, boom, boom. Pierre's a gangster. Pierre's good. Actually, he just got a bath, so he's feeling super fly right now. Oh. And if anybody wants to buy an overpriced Mustang, Fox Body, let me know. Vacation to Mexico will recharge you. No, getting my tailbone fixed and getting these issues fixed will recharge me. Once my health is better, I will feel significantly better about a lot of things. That is for damn sure. And I don't gotta stand up like that. Some good Gatorade. Everybody's been saying bye, but nobody's logging off. Just the number keeps staying there. So, hey everybody, come check out how cool my Mustang is. Check it out, guys. I got a cool Mustang. Guys. Look at that. What's that? You know what that is. That's LS Motor Mounts, baby. LS Motor Mounts. What's that? That's the plate, I think. Yeah, those are the plates for the LS Motor Mounts. Oh. Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Power. Well, it's got no battery in it, but yeah, you guys picking up what I'm putting down. She's nice. Dude, I have to get my ass cut. You're not making me feel good about it. Like, there's nothing. I've had my ass cut plenty of times. There's nothing good about it, but it's usually fine. The only reason I'm in this bad of shape is because my bone got infected. I have an infection in my bone. Like, if you get a bone infection, it doesn't matter. Like, that's just a bad time anyway. So, but like, see, when you get the bone infection, you end up with this thing, which actually I gotta check. But yep, see, bam. You end up with that thing, and it's not a good time. Ooh. But depending on how you're getting your ass cut, it could be, it varies. Like, I've had fistula repairs and that kind of stuff, and some of it's not too bad, some of it is. But like I said, right now what's killing us is the bone cutting thing, or the bone infection. So, and then we got this turd, which, to be straight up honest with you, I got no motivation of finishing that one either. Just because, like, I know, you know what I mean? This right here, it ain't gonna work. Turbo LS, not gonna work. Like, this thing would have to have a big block in it. We need my freaking big block back. Cyst-on tailbone, yeah, get that taken care of. Yep. Do not let it get to a point of infection. You're gonna be severely wishing that you got it taken care of sooner. Sometimes shit just happens, but if you can get it taken care of, get it taken care of. Get healthy. I hope so. I hope that's why the motivation levels are low. It's just the health. $6,500 is a good price for that car. I think it is. I think it's a reasonable price with the work done to the rear, the mini tubs, the fact that it is a very clean interior. It has a tubular K-member. You know, I don't think that price is incredibly unreasonable by any means. So, and I don't have to sell it. Like, I don't need the money. I'm not in a jam. At the moment, I'm not working on that car anyway, so it's not like the space is an issue. So, I'm with you. Like, it can sit here for as long as I feel like letting it sit here until I get the money that I want for it. I think is really the case. Hey, look, I got pistons. The problem is I don't know wherever any of them are at, or which ones are which. Should take the rest of the year off and heal yourself. Keith, it's funny you mentioned that, because I had that conversation today in the team meeting. I said, you know what really should happen is I should really take the rest of the year off and just kind of get myself better, or as better as I can. And I don't think you're wrong about that. I have zero motivation too, and I can't even convince someone to finish mine. Yeah, I just, I don't know. I at this point, the only thing that I would be willing to do I think at this point is if something were ready, like chassis completely ready, that needed maybe the motor put in it, you know, like my motor and trains, my fuel system, my electronics, like I would do that. If it was something that was like, you know, hey, this thing is going to weigh 2,500 pounds with me in it. Like, and the chassis is completely ready to go. All that's ready to go. All I got to, you know, I'm not say all, but like I got to put my motor, my trans, my fuel system, my electronics in it. Maybe I would have motivation for that right now, but that's about it. I agree. So here's the problem, guys. Like I love you guys to death. I really do, and I really appreciate you guys being, you know, being involved in the channel and watching and all that stuff. But the issue is that if I do nothing for the rest of the year, the channel is gonna suffer horribly. Like, I'm gonna go to getting 1,000 views a video, and at that point, it's legitimately financially not even going to make sense to make videos anymore. It's a whole lot of work. Like, there has to be some kind of return. It's too much work to not have some sort of a return on. So, you know what I mean? I'm being flat out honest, you know. Look, we all got to eat. I got kids to take care of. I got stuff to do. We all do. So, and I got that 9-month timeline. Now you got that timeline, dog. So, do other stuff and post, like how to use a 3D printer. I don't even know how to use a 3D printer. That's a lie. I've been teaching myself how to design parts and stuff and like that kind of shit, but even still, I haven't had time for it lately. Please give me a shout out to cheer me up. No, Daniels, I will not give you a shout out to cheer you up. My ass hurts. I need cheering up. How about that? Did you ever think about that? No, you didn't think about that. I did kind of build a pretty cool turbo kit there. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool hot side stuff there. Yeah, but there's just still so much work that needs to be done to this thing. It's freaking insane. And then to do all that work, to know that it's still not enough. It's like, you know, here's the wall. Here's my head. We should just do that. Those pie cuts are sweet. SHITBOXSupply.com. You can order yourself a pack of them. You can have them too. But, all right. Now my phone is like less than 10%, so I'm really getting out of here. Love you guys. Y'all are the best. I'm out. I'll try to get some updates. Try to get, actually, no, Nick's is worse. Well, I'm not going to say worse because I have a fucking line in my arm for the next couple weeks. But his is, so the difference, I'll sum this up really quick for you guys, just so you know, because a lot of people think it's the same, and parts of it are, but parts of it are not. So like, Nick's problems are more intestinal, my problems are more ass. Same kind of like Crohn's disease-ish stuff going on. I think he needs to have his intestines cut. Like, my intestines are okay. That's not the problem that I have. The hell is driving by outside? So I say his is worse because like he needs to have his intestines cut. I don't need to have my intestines cut. But then again, a bone infection can kill me very easily. Oh, it's farm equipment. So I'll catch you guys later. I'll keep you updated. Derek, if you're still watching, I'm gonna text you. We're gonna talk some shit. Derek texted me like a bunch while I was in the hospital, and I was just super doped up on all the pain medication. And I'm like, what about this? What if we do this car? What if I take this car? What if I take this car that's got a 632 in it and then just put a small tire on it and see what happens? So, all right, I'll see you guys. What the hell those trucks are coming by? I want to make sure it's not like tanks and shit, like we ain't getting attacked or something, right? I'll see you guys later. There's another one. What the hell is this? I don't even know what kind of truck that is. There's a convoy of them. There's multiples. What kind of truck is that? Like, I don't even think that's farm equipment. There's a bunch of them. China don't want Delaware. Nah, they probably don't. Invasion. But we're close to an Air Force base. So, yeah, I mean, you always gotta wonder, like. I'm out, guys. I'll see you next time. Oh. National Guard. No, I know where the National Guard is. They're not here. But they're weird. Like, I don't even know what kind of a truck it is. It looked like it had some kind of roller on the front, and then it's just this big ass truck. Like, it didn't even make. No, it wasn't combines. No. Unless is that another one coming? What the hell are these trucks? Let me look at it close. Is it a combine? No, it's got like a roller on the front. It's not a combine. It's not an armored car. It's not up armored. I don't know what the hell it is. It's just a really random ass big ass truck. But it's got this weird like roller on it on the front. Oh. Alright. Before my phone completely dies, I'll catch y'all later.